All right, David, want to show you the latest and greatest on your boy Goose, show you what's going on. We've been doing a whole lot of retriever work the last couple of weeks, running marks, swimming. We finally got water in the pond. You were here the other day and you kind of saw where he was with his e-collar work. We definitely have been through a very thorough e-collar conditioning. Goose understands exactly what that means. And what we see on, I would say, probably 3 out of 4 dogs, after we go through a thorough e-collar conditioning, a lot of times dogs are a little bit confused about how that relates to force fetching. And so we have to help them connect all the pieces together. Kind of like Legos, you got to make them all fit together. And at the moment, Goose has not fit all the pieces together. And so what this leads to is a feeling of confusion. Goose is feeling confused because he's not sure exactly what I want. And so sometimes that leads to him looking like he doesn't want to work, or he's sad or pouting. Sometimes we describe it that way, but the reality is it's just simple confusion. And so what we do in cases like this is we're going to break it down and make it very simple for him what I am telling him to do. I'm not asking him to do anything, but what I am commanding him to do. And so we do that by doing things that he already knows. So now that he knows thoroughly what e-collar conditioning means, all we have to do is add the e-collar to what he already knows. So this shouldn't take too long. I told you, like 2 weeks is kind of what I was eyeballing on this. That's sort of a standard guess. Some dogs make this connection in a couple days, and some dogs it takes 3 or 4 weeks. But the thing is, if we stop now, he would definitely not have ever connected all the pieces together, not understand what we want. So we want him to leave here feeling confident and knowing what he's doing. I think about his entire career ahead of him. I don't want to rush it. I want to make sure that he gets through all the stages and puts it together properly. So what we're going to do is we're going to do the things that he already knows. First thing we're going to do is his obedience, which is heel, boy, Goose, here, heel, sit, good boy. And you can see that with just his pace, his body language, he's like, oh boy. He's like, you can tell that he's feeling a little bit of unease about this. And so we got to make sure that we're building him up and build some momentum. So we're going to, good boy, that's a good boy. Good job. Okay. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the force fetch that he knows, using the classic method of the light pressure ear pinch to grab and carry. He generally is doing quite well with this. So if I come right here, I'm going to apply a little pressure to the ear. Fetch. Good boy. Heel. Good. Goose, here. Good boy. Heel. Sit. Excellent. Good boy. Give. And so he understands that. So now we have put together the obedience that he knows, and we have paired that with the force fetch. Okay, so he's pretty good at that. And I wasn't touching his collar. I wasn't holding him there. That was him holding on his own. He was doing all of that. So now the next step is to add to that the e-collar to create the force fetching mechanism. Now this is done for several reasons. We do this as a finisher because we want him to understand that wherever he is, it doesn't even have to be right here. It needs to be wherever he is, fetch. Right? It can be 100 yards away, fetch. And this also greatly improves the efficiency, because if he gives me a denial, that is to say, he's like, nope, I don't want to pick it up. I don't think I like this one right now. We can say, no, I'm not asking. But whereas normally I would have to reach down and fiddle and fumble with his ear to get a hold of him to apply the pressure to fetch, if I have the e-collar, it's much more efficient. It's also more consistent. So it's always the same pressure, always the same way, and it's quicker. and everything with dog training is about timeliness. Having that quick, immediate response to correct him is huge. So that's why we're going through this step. Now, in order to do this, the way that we teach it is I am going to hold the bumper out in front of him, just like we did before, and I am going to apply light ear pressure, just like I did before. But the only difference is when I say the word fetch, I am going to push the button on the e-collar to apply the stimulus. So we're going to pair in very Pavlovian style fetch with the e-collar while he's feeling the ear pressure. Now, the secret to this is reps, and reps until the dog understands the process. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do this until he feels confident with it, and then I'm going to phase out the ear pressure. So the idea is we want him to understand that when I apply electronic stimulus, he needs to get the bumper in his mouth. That is the goal here. So let me show you how that works. So we're just going to get down here on his level, again, so we're trying to not be threatening here. And you also might notice that he's staring off to the side. He's looking away from me as a sign of, again, more of his body language about him feeling slightly uneasy about this. So we're going to just come right here the same way we did before. I'm going to put the bumper right in front of him. Fetch. Good boy. And it's hard to see on video, but I saw his eyes blink. He blinked at me once or twice there when I said fetch and pushed the button. Good boy. That's a good dog. And at this point right here where we're first teaching this idea, we use a lot of praise. We use lots of reaffirming to help him feel secure and confident. Again, we're trying to build that momentum and build that confidence. So good boy. Good. Excellent. I want to even be able to touch it. Very good. Give. Good dog. Good boy. That's a good boy. So we want him to know, yes, that's what I need you to do. That was excellent. That was actually perfect for what I wanted him, how I wanted him to respond. So I'm really happy with how that went. So now what we're going to do is we're going to continue to do a lot of reps of fetch with the e-collar pressure. And by the way, I'm using low 2, which is the e-collar pressure that you felt when you were here when you put it on your arm. Enough that he can feel it, but not enough to cause pain. Okay. Right here. Fetch. Good boy. Now Goose is actually going lower to the ground. He's doing that because he knows what comes next. What we've been working on is transitioning him to go all the way to the ground for the fetch. And we're going to do that because we want to be able to just set the bumper on the ground in front of him and command the fetch. Give! I'm not going to let him fail. He was about to drop and I didn't want to let him. I don't want to have to reapply corrections here yet. We'll address that later. Fetch! Good boy. Good. And you can see how he's tilting more towards me. Right? His head's up nice and high. We're building some confidence. Right? And the thing with Goose is he has all the natural ability in the world. Good boy. Give! He is an excellent marker, mad crazy about birds, solid swimmer, a great retriever. This is all about what's between his ears. Just helping him understand this process that I am telling him to do. That's a good boy. Yeah, that's a good boy. Fetch. Good dog. Good. Give. Good dog. That's a good boy. Yeah. Also, licking is a sign of submissiveness. So he's saying, okay, you're the boss. I get it. I know what you want. Now let's go down a little bit. Fetch. Oh, good boy. What I want him to do is I want him to go down to the ground, pick it up, and then hold his head back up. That tells me he understands, go get it, and then hold it and look nice and have that polished delivery. That's what we're trying to sort of fine tune here. Good boy. Give. Good dog. And I love that his grip is getting better. He's getting more firm with it, so he understands that he needs to hold on to it and don't let go of it. I'm actually pulling it out of his mouth instead of him just kind of bleh and letting it out. So that's very good. Okay, let's go all the way down to the ground this time, and then we're going to have him move. Fetch. Boy. You. Goose, here. Good boy. Heel. Sit. Good boy. Give. Good dog. Good. Now, that all looked great. And so I'm really happy with Goose with this session. He's getting there. This was good progress today. I'm happy with his progress. So we're rolling right along. What I am not going to do is I am not going to throw this bumper for him. Because if I throw this for him right now, more than likely he's going to blow it off and not want to go pick it up. Because there's oftentimes a little bit of resentment, and his body language tells me he's not really excited about it at the moment. He's not up and running around tail wagging. He's feeling a little bit like, fine, you know, I'll do it. And that's okay. I'm okay with that attitude so long as we keep building momentum. The excitement and the joy will come when we get rid of this and we turn it into a bird. That's the goal. So, all in all, Goose is doing great. I would say he's very typical. I would say he's following along the process. Very, very typical, like many, many dogs that we worked with. So, good boy, Goose.